I saw this story the other day, and I was going to do something on it, and I didn't do anything. And the day they gave an update, now this is the story from the other day. I'll backtrack it a minute and show you the update, okay? Right here, an Amber Alert has been issued for two children taken from their grandmother's home on Wednesday, okay? Now the reason that I'm doing this is for a very simple reason. This is a family where the mother and father apparently had drugs, and of course, it's all the man's fault because we know women would never do drugs, right? Because we know that women don't do drugs. We know that they're perfect angels, okay? So anyhow, so the man was a druggie, and they had guns, and they had guns too, okay? So they must have been druggies and gunnies, okay, who owned guns and did drugs. And so, however, I'll leave the links to this and the more for you. So, however, anyhow, they got wound up in our criminal justice system and they lost their kids. And the grandmother had custody of the kids. They were taken away and put in foster care or whatever for a little while. See, I read this story the other day. And then they were eventually turned over to the grandmother. So the parents didn't have custody of kids no more, neither the mother or father, right? Now I want you to catch this, okay? You should like this, okay? We feel that they are in danger due to the nature and the means of which they were taken. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, okay? Warrants have been issued for the arrest of the children's father. That's right. He is wanted on charges of kidnapping, interference with child custody, child neglect, false imprisonment even, huh? So who did he imprison? See, that sounds like a story right there, false imprisonment. Sounds like they reached up their anal to pull out that charge, okay? Burglary with battery, grand theft auto, okay? Deputies say children's mother, okay, has not yet been charged with the crime. However, detectives believe that she is traveling with her husband, right? Hold on, now let's get this right. The mother and father of these two children, okay, the mother and father, mother and dad of these two children, this is the family, take the kids, but it's all his fault. That's right. Maybe that's why they're saying right here imprisonment. Maybe they're accusing him of kidnapping her at the same time, right? Okay? I find this hilarious, but not hilarious. Let me show you something. We'll back this up. The browser will do what it's supposed to do. Here it is, right here. This is the update. Okay? A search for the missing Tampa boys, taken by the father on Wednesday, continues today in Florida, okay? 4 Fish and Wildlife officials are searching offshore along the Gulf of Mexico. Amber Alert issued for the boys has been modified to include only state and border along the Gulf of Mexico. An Amber Alert was issued. 4-year-old Colin and the kids that were taken from the grandparents, okay, said that Michael Hickens entered the mother's in-law's house in North Tampa, tied her up, and left with the children. Wednesday afternoon, the children's mother, 34, Sherry, is believed to be with them. Okay, so what? You think the mother was just, so you think he tied the mother up and kidnapped her too then? Is that what we're saying here? It appears to me that they were still together when they lost custody of the children. It appears to me that most mothers and fathers that have children love their children. Not all, not in today's society, but let's just go with the average. This is the married couple. This is their children. They lose their children to the system, okay? I'm sure they both would want their children back, not just one, okay? But yet, I don't know that the police was at the house, at the time that he entered the house and tied her up. Or, she probably gave the story that he just came in, but then how would they be able to say if he came in by himself Let's just picture this now. The grandmother has to get herself untied. She calls law enforcement and says that he came in and took his kids. Okay? But yet they've already said that she's believed to be with him. How do they know that she's with him? Do you see what I'm saying? And if she is with him, I'm sure they were married and they didn't get divorced and they wasn't having issues. And the issue was they've lost their children. They probably both wanted their children back. So I'm sure that, yeah, she is with him. She was probably outside waiting in the vehicle when he went in and got the kids. She's probably just as guilty, just as involved, okay? But if you notice here, see, as of today, they're still looking. And she hasn't been charged with anything yet. It's all him. Okay, and they're tracking him. See, they purchased a sailboat, right? That's why they're looking in the water. But the thing I find complete hogwash here is the fact that even when you look at both stories, they're still looking for him. He's the one with the charges. No charges has been brought up against her at all. If that's the case, then why didn't she have custody of the kids and he was in jail to begin with for the drugs and the guns and what have you, and she was still with the kids? Why would they take the kids away from her too? Why would they strip the kids from both parents? How would the grandmother end up with them? Because the system put them over on the grandma after they took the kids from them, right? So the system takes the kids away from these two parents. The system places them temporarily in foster care. Then the system turns around and gives the grandmother custody of her grandkids. And then I would have to say they both wanted their kids back equally as bad. Okay? That's why they believe she's with him. I don't believe that he tied her up and kidnapped her to make her go with him, to kidnap their children. I don't believe that for the life of me. And when you say drugs and guns, well, I've known lots and lots of women who do drugs like men do. Okay? But once again, our double standards, our one-sidedness to keep the division amongst the genders is living, healthy, and breathing just fine. Yep, that's right. It's nice and healthy. The division amongst the genders is living and strong and nice and healthy. Because here we go. Once again, they're only looking for the guy, even though they believe she's with him. That's right. So they're only looking for the father. He's the one who got the warrants for his arrest, not her. Okay? Maybe that's what the false imprisonment charges are. It's a false charge that they reached up the Reno and pulled out to cover up for her. Because we all know that she wouldn't want her kids back. That's right. We all know that, right? We all know that she's an angel and she would never do no drugs. That's right. We all know that she has to be a perfect angel because she's a she. So is that why they took the kids away from both of them and she didn't have the kids to begin with? How would the kids go from being taken from both mom and dad to temporary foster care to grandma's house if their mother wasn't somehow involved? If the mother was not somehow involved, how did that happen? And so the father goes into grandmother's house and he ties her up and takes his kids because they were his kids. And they say that she's with him. But she's not being charged. Only he is. How does that work? I'll tell you how that works. Because once again, we got to cover up for the female. If the female is doing drugs, we'll just turn our head and look the other way and pretend she's not doing it. We'll blame it on him. If they both conspired and planned to go get the kids together, we'll blame it all on him and we'll turn our head to whatever her involvement is. Okay? We've got to turn our head to her involvement completely. And we only got to blame him because we know it's all his fault. It's all his fault. It's all his fault. We know that she would never ever want her kids back. We know that she was just fine with it all. That's why she's with him, right? See how ridiculous this is? This is what our system does. This is what a criminal cartel looks like. The courts, law enforcement, corporation enforcement. That's right. See, this is criminals chasing after so-called criminals. That's right. Criminals wearing badges, criminal courts. And I'll call them criminals because you ain't going to get me to buy into that she's this innocent, perfect angel. Okay? You ain't going to get me to believe that. Sorry. If she was such the perfect angel in this situation, then the kids would have never been taken away from them both and placed in temporary foster care and then placed with grandma. And even if they had to investigate her first and they were in temporary foster care, they would have been placed back with her, not grandma. But since they were placed with grandma, that means there must be something that she was involved in, right? Yeah. But now here we are. We're chasing only after him when they're suspected to be together. That's right. That's right. We're going to kiss her ass and lock him up, right? That's right. Sickening, disgusting, and that's the reason I'm doing this video. Because this is complete, outright hogwash. All the way, right straight across the board, division, put in your face by the system. Because you're painting her out as a good person and him out as the villain. You're only interested in picking him up, even though they're together. Okay? I mean, it's ludicrous. It's completely insane. This is insanity to its fullest. You know? A man-hating, male-bashing society. Here it is in your face. See, that's why there's only a warrant for his arrest and there's not one for hers. When in reality, if this was the case, then there should be a warrant for both of their arrests and they should be looking for both parents. Nope, couldn't do that. Even if she's with him, you know. Even if she's accessory to the fact, we have to turn our head and look the other way, don't we? Because we know it. She would never want her own children back. We know because she's a female, she would never do drugs. Because we know all females are clean. Females don't do drugs of any type at all. Females don't drink. They don't do drugs. Females are perfect little angels. We all know that, right? Not. It's fucking disgusting. So here's our system once again showing you how criminal they are and helping to keep the division alive and healthy.